Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first. I have a lot of vowels, I don't have a bingo. I have a scoring tile in the F. I don't think I can stick the F on a double letter square. But Tafia retains the E and scores the most, 18. I have Woodier, which plays in row I. And if my opponent plays an S, I would have Woodsier. Well, no S, and my Woodier spot has been blocked. There goes the first blank, so great start for my opponent. Is there anywhere for Woodier? I don't think there is. Do I have a bingo through any of these floaters? Now with the W, it's helpful to consider prefixes and suffixes or component parts. So wood, I've got wood which goes with I-E-R. Well, that doesn't help. Through an N I would have down as a suffix. Well, that's not going to work out. Okay, I don't think there is a bingo here. So I need to get rid of the W. And if I can play off the O's as well, then I'll have a decent rack leave. So woo for 20. I draw the Q. I do have the I for going with it, so I can play Chi in row I, Chi and tie. And I can also play Chi next to the I of thriving for 31. Can't see anywhere else good for my Q. I could play cat through the A of Tafia. That's not going to score very much. Well, one of my Chi spots has gone. The other remains available. Just checking that my opponent hasn't provided anything better. He hasn't. So Chi 31. Now, this looks quite bingo-y. I've got Wittered in row A. If that can be spelt without an H, I think it can. I'm certainly going to try it. Do I have an alternative bingo in case it comes off or is blocked? I'm 23 points behind. I've also got AL and TO to consider in columns 4 and 5. Great. Wittered remains available. Let's see if this stays on. Wittered 89. Pretty good. Couple of duplicates. But fairly balanced and should be straightforward to deal with. I just need to play off AP and AD. So I can see that I can play pod in column 2, making par, ox and die. That stays available. I don't think I have a bingo with this rack. I think the duplicate scupper at only 16 for my opponent. That's good. Now, what I'm wondering is whether I've got a play in column 2 which stretches down to this double word square. And what I'm thinking about is DOPPED, DOPPED. I don't feel confident enough about that. I know dopping is good, but I think that is a noun for a bunch of birds. So I can't assume that dop is a verb. Anyway, Pod is going to score quite well. 34 points. Have I missed a word I'm sure of in this spot? No, I don't think so. Pod 34. Now, is pennied good? Quite tempting. Well, I don't think so, but repinned is good, and that plays in column 13 from the R of witted. So I've got repinned. Par takes an S in front, so column 1 is a pretty hot bingo lane. And my opponent does precisely that with tailored. Fortunately, I can come straight back with a bingo of my own. Still one blank out there. A repinned 74. Nice balanced rack, couple of scoring tiles, no bingo here. I've got a 40-point lead. Jaxie takes an S at the end. I would consider using that hook if I could get my H or Y on the triple letter square at N6, but and get the play doubled. I don't think I can do that. Ashy is the closest I can do, and that's going to leave an awful rack leave as well as burning the S. Now, I note that my Y can go next to the F of Gulf and the right of N. So I may be able to get good value out of the Y. Ah, well. Look what my opponent has done. He's provided an opportunity for me to play yeah and keep ISE, which is a good rack leave. So a bit unlucky for my opponent, 57 points. I draw the blank. I've got a fabulous rack. I'm sure I have a bingo here. I've also got a 70-point lead. So if my opponent doesn't score well now, I should be able to establish an excellent lead. Oh well, 35 points, not bad. Now, what can I do here? Well, I can play Raciest in column 12 next to Repinned. I don't know if Thriving takes an S. I'm not going to try it. What about a play down from the D of Witted? Dialects. Okay, pretty good. Is there a play which sticks the C on this double letter square? I've got 14 minutes left, only 23 tiles in the bag, so I'm way up on time. I'm just going to run through the alphabet. It would be good to get that C on there. Haven't seen anything yet. Still nothing. That's the dialects play. Okay, still nothing better than dialects. Well, Acrodust is the play there. I've got Dictates. Okay, well, dialects it is. Well, Dictates it is, because that will avoid putting the blank on the double letter square. Dictates 83. I draw the K, slightly vowel heavy rack, but the K should enable me to keep scoring. Nearly ukulele. I would need the R to be an L to play that. 29 points for my opponent, good score for him. Now, I note that my K can go next to ON where my opponent has just played, and my E can go next to ON. But I don't have anything for going in front of my or DE, so that's not a spot I can use. So a play of EK or EKE would balance this rack out. Is there anywhere to play that? Yes. I can play EK down here. £31 points, pretty good. Yeah, I'm just looking to see if I can extend that. Now, I am providing a hotspot down here. Does it make sense to play that for 2 fewer points? And that makes it harder to get maximum value. This is really going to score well if my opponent can put a high scoring tile on this double letter square. But I think that's going to be obstructed by having a tile here. So I think it's worth the 2 point. Well, why don't I do this and make it impossible? Yeah, because I don't think the LU is a particularly, or either LU or LR isn't good. Isn't great, rather. Okay, so leak 31. Finally, my rack looks grim, but I have a 120-point lead and there are 8 tiles left. And I do have a scoring tile in the Y. I'm just a million miles away from a bingo with this rack. The Q has been played, so my U's are not great. Ah, my opponent does manage to score with his Z. Gosh. Okay, well, he's now 60 points behind. He could have a bingo. The remaining tiles are somewhat bingo-y, and there are bingo lanes open on this board. So what to do about that? Well, I've got my Y for going here. So YU, it would be nice to play off more tiles to minimise the number of opportunities my opponent has to bingo. But I think it's a good idea to keep scoring. Yeah. More grimness. But look at the remaining tiles now. Very unbingo-y with only 2 vowels, the U and the I. And I think if my opponent did bingo now, I'm 90 points ahead. I think I could survive it. My opponent now has 6 tiles left, so he cannot bingo. This game is won. My job now is to maximise the spread. Well, I'm not sure there's very much available on this board. I could play Grieve across here. Does that leave me with an out? Well, I've got Ewer down here and I've got Q across here, so I can go out in 2. He plays Sinus for 10. Does that give me the opportunity to score more than 7 for Q? It does. I can play Ewer for 12. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. And the final score, 412 to my opponent, 496 to me, a winning margin of 84 points. So a big, big win, high scoring game, good spread. Let's see what I missed. So it was me to go first. I played Tafia, and that's all that's on offer. This was my opponent's rack, and let's just see what was available. Thieving and Thriving. So good bingo for my opponent, blocking my player Woodier. There was no bingo for me, but I could have got a double-double with Wordier or Worried. Instead, I got 20 fewer points for Woo, and although the rack leave of DEIR is very good, I don't think it's worth 20 points, so certainly the double-doubles were better plays. My opponent's rack, he plays Joel, and I have the Q, and Chi is the best play. My opponent's rack, he plays Jaxie, and this was my rack, and Wittard was the only bingo. My opponent's rack, he plays Gulf, and this is my rack, and Dopt was good. Okay, well, that's one to remember for future, but look at that, Doped, which is a play I certainly would have been sure about, was available for 48, so that was a bad miss. Instead I played Pod for 34, and another advantage of Doped is that it doesn't open up column 1 for a bingo ending in S, so that was a pretty suboptimal play. My opponent's rack, and he had Dilators at A15 down from the D of Wittard, but he got one fewer point for Taylor's, which is fine. This is my rack. I got repinned, so I was pleased to spot that, the only available bingo. My opponent's rack, pretty horrible. He played back and was brutally punished by Yeah, which is just the sort of situation you want to find yourself in. Now, my opponent's rack, he played Brawn, and here I had a great rack. I played Dictates, and there was a play which placed the C on this double letter square. It was Danciest. Should have spotted that, but didn't, so 6 points fewer than I could have got there. My opponent's rack, he plays Mood. 12 tiles in the bag. My rack starts to deteriorate at this point, and I was considering various plays. Well, I didn't consider UK. Ah, look at that. Tor and Orc. Yeah, that would have been a better play than Eek, I think. I played Leak to try and stop my opponent getting a good score in column 4. That failed dismally as he got 57 for Zoa. But at this point I had a 60-point lead. Yi for 29, keeping 2 U's. Not as good as U, keeping just the 1. This is my opponent's rack. He played Merv. No tiles left. I can see what he's got on his rack. This is what I've got. I played Grieve for 14. I didn't spend too long thinking about this. I couldn't see anything great on the board, and I had easily won. But I suspect there was a better outplay combination than Grieve and whatever is to follow it, but I suspect that doesn't necessarily involve any of the plays down here because all of the rack leaves are poor. My opponent's rack, he played Sinus, and finally Yor for 12 was the best. So quite a rip-roaring game, bingos on both sides, and both scores over 400 points. Some interesting moves to consider, and as always, some mistakes. And I think the one down here missing Doped was a bad one, and I think also missing the double-double was poor, so well done if you spotted either of those whilst watching. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching that video and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.